All right, who are we talking to?
My name is Lil Ray from Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn born and bred?
No, born in Jamaica, West Indies. Lived there for 16 years. And then I moved to Brooklyn permanently. I was coming up and, for visits back and forth to New York City. But I lived it, then moved here permanently August 29, 1979 to Brooklyn.
Um, you are responsible for the Jamboree. Um,
Now I am, yes.
okay. And before?
Before it actually is a brainchild of the idea came up from my friend, very good friend named Kurt Minter. Everybody in the scene knew him as Dirty Kurt, old garage and loft head. And we decided, well, he decided he wanted to do something that, we used to always go to the clubs. Back then you could go to clubs from Saturday to Saturday, without even going to the same clubs. And we wanted to take that idea and that energy out into the street, out in the parks. And it just so happened he hooked up with another individual named Kurt who was working in Prospect Park. He was the head of the affairs and the special events in Prospect Park, and they were just talking, and it is history. He brought him in, and Kurt brought myself in along with this other young lady named Kim, and we did the first one at the band show. And then from there it just kept growing and growing, and myself and Kurt continued to do the jamborees until I would say 1994 or thereabout. I could be off. I know I'm off. My brain isn't like it used to be. But he decided, Ray, you take over and you run it, and I just continue on.
And what is the Jamboree for those that don't know?
The club, it's actually, when it first started, it was a behind club doors jamboree. Clubhouse jamboree. Behind club doors, clubhouse jamboree. BCD was a club here in New York City that kind of just grew out of necessity, where Kurt and his wife, Desiree, wife at the time, they decided they wanted to do a club where, kind of a throwback of the garage. We were all getting a little older. There was nothing really. There was always something to do in New York, but there was a lag. We're talking before Shelter, before the Body and Soul, all that, and there was that time period, that lag between many of the other clubs that you probably hear, the Wild Pitch and so on, and they decided to do a behind club doors. And then from there we did that 1 year, and we decided we wanted to do that kind of flavor in the park. What is the Clubhouse Jamboree? It's really the flavor of the club outside. That was how it started. It started with that idea of we wanted to bring the flavor of the nightlife outside. A lot of us were getting a lot older, have a lot of responsibilities, have their children, and a lot of them, we noticed a big part of the demographic couldn't come to the club as much, or maybe just come one time a month. I think that's where most of these monthly parties started also, because the age of the club goers at the time was getting older and getting a little bit more finicky. They had kids, and we wanted to show the kids where we were going when we left them at home with grandma. So we started the Clubhouse Jamboree. The name itself came up with club and house. At the time, in New York City, the New York heads called what we dance to, what we love, club music. But then there was that force coming out of Chicago that called it house music. And the rest of the world latched on to the word house. We in New York were still calling it club, and we just tied the two together, call it Clubhouse. And Jamboree is exactly that, a party, grand time, bring the family, bring the kids. And it's one day So I guess the Clubhouse Jamboree is one day outdoors where we try to bring the flavor of the nightlife outside. And that flavor, this is why we have always started out where we did more than one DJs, always throw in an act. One year we did 8 DJs. That was a nightmare, but it was great because it really gave the people a taste, the actual taste of different flavors that goes on in the club.